Welcome back to part 3 of our Call the Spot. If you have not checked out parts 1 and part 2, then go ahead and do that, because those were the tag team and the women's elimination matches for Survivor Series, where we were breaking down the Raw and SmackDown teams from top to bottom. Actually, we go bottom to top. So you should know by now what's happening with this. And to this edition is going to be the men's Survivor Series elimination match. So for Team Raw, we have in alphabetical order Braun Strowman, Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. And for Team SmackDown, we have AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, Randy Orton, and Shane McMahon. I had to completely redo all this stuff when it was Baron Corbin because he got replaced by Shane McMahon. And I'm a little bit annoyed about that because I had Baron Corbin in my jobber spot. And my whole paragraph that I wrote about him being a jobber was, God damn it, he shouldn't be a jobber. He should be far better up. And it was a whole big rant that I will not be able to do this time around. But that switch around made everything completely different, and that's why I'm going to lead right into this. The reason why I have my released as Shane McMahon is partially because of that. A little bit annoyed that I had to redo all that. It was like, fuck Shane, he gets the last one. But I had, and spoiler alert, I had Bray Wyatt down as my released beforehand because I said that I thought there was more of an upside at this point to Baron Corbin that I haven't seen yet than anything that I haven't seen out of Bray Wyatt.
Right.
But with Shane McMahon, I can't put him any higher up than anybody else on this list because he's not a wrestler.
Exactly. I had the same thing. Shane McMahon is the bottom released because he's not really a wrestler. Yeah, he's put on some amazing matches. He's taken a hell of bumps in, numerous times. Famous for that, but there's really no reason for him to be any higher than that. He's going to stick around behind the scenes anyway. He's going to be the general manager. So
yeah, there's nothing in these rules of this made up segment that I made up or whatever that say that you can't keep somebody around in a different role when they get released. Like he could just not be a wrestler anymore. Just kind of fades away a little bit into the managerial position. So that's something that is a good little fuck you if you thought you couldn't get around that rule. Haha, we make stuff up on the spot.
Haha, we make the rules.
Yeah. So you break them. So that's the rationality that both of us have going on, which makes a lot of sense. And with released for Raw, this, out of all the bunches that we had, this was the hardest bunch.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't want to release a single one of these guys. And I know that some people are going to go, fuck Roman Reigns, he should be released. Step back a little bit and think about actually releasing somebody like a Roman Reigns or a Kevin Owens or anybody like that. I unfortunately went with Braun Strowman.
I did as well. And kind of with the same thing with Nia Jax, because they're kind of booking them the same. I like what they've been doing, making the total monster out of Braun Strowman. In fact, I like Strowman way more than I like Nia Jax, but they're sort of going along the same path with them.
They're doing a much better job with Strowman.
Absolutely. Strowman has won me over. When after the brand split happened, I was kind of unsure where they were going to go with him, but I'm definitely warmed up to him, especially after listening to him on the podcast. I really like that. It gave me a new appreciation for him and what he does. And unfortunately, of the people on this list, I have to rank him as the lowest. So sorry, Strowman, but good luck in your future endeavors.
The main thing that got me to put him in the spot, because I do think he's somebody who can improve more and more as time goes on, and he's done that in the past few months. Like he's actually fun to watch now.
Oh yeah.
But the thing that got me to go, I guess I gotta put him down there, is I thought about how many waves are going to be created from the moves that I would make, and Braun Strowman, out of everybody on this list, if he got released, not as many things would change in the company.
No.
Essentially, all we would be losing is another squash match per week and another potential guy for the future. But if we lost, anybody else, other than, I guess you could argue Chris Jericho, like if he would retire, and that's like the released kind of angle. But Jericho's doing such fucking great work. I can't do that. So it's like, well, if Strowman goes, then he's just another failed experiment kind of a thing. And then they move on, and then they build another guy up, and they do all that all over again. But it sucks to have to release somebody out of this list.
Mm-hmm.
So with Jobber, that sucks too, because you don't want these guys to lose either, because they're all the point of this is the main event of the Survivor Series crew. I had, as I mentioned before, Bray Wyatt for that one because I think Bray Wyatt has already shown all of his cards. I don't think that he's going to improve any more than he already has.
I totally agree. I have Bray Wyatt in the jobber position as well. We've seen him for a few years now. I do like him sometimes, but I feel that he hasn't lived up to the potential. I don't know if it's his potential or just the potential that I had for him in my mind. I think he could possibly be better in the future. Maybe not necessarily in the ring, but I think he could bring more to the table.
And he's already kind of a jobber.
Yeah, exactly. The way they've been booking him, especially, he's just not very credible.
Yeah, if you look at like what he's done over the past bunch of years, ever since he started with this Bray Wyatt character, he's literally had the same lineup for every feud. It's been calling somebody out, beating them up with a couple other people, cutting a bunch of random ass promos about the same old shit, like, you know, you never knew the darkness, man, or whatever like that. And then he loses. And then he just picks on another person. And if he never fucking wins anything, he's no championships, not even the Wyatt family as tag champions.
Right.
That's crazy. So if he doesn't ever actually make it to that point, he's a jobber to the stars. So fuck him. He's already a jobber.
Yep. Keep him there. I agree.
Who do you got for Raw?
This one wasn't as tough as I thought it would be. I had to put Chris Jericho as my jobber. While I love him, he's had such a career. I think his role now is best as putting other guys over. I mean, he came back to put over Fandango, for Christ's sake. So he's always going to have the crowd behind him. He's always going to be popular. He's always going to be very entertaining. He doesn't need to be in that upper mid or main event status. I think his time has kind of sailed for that, at least if you have to rank these 5 guys. So I'm going to put Chris Jericho as my jobber, but definitely keep him around.
I came very close to giving Jericho the jobber spot too, but something popped in my brain that I couldn't get out, and that's the people that hate Roman Reigns so much aren't going to stop until they do something different. And I thought, you know what? If you give him a little bit of a role as a jobber for a while, they're going to turn again. They're going to do that whole shit where they go, oh, now he's not being shoved down our throats. Now you actually kind of want the guy to be on the top. Sort of like what happened with MVP.
Like with Daniel Bryan? Or MVP, yeah.
And Daniel Bryan to an extent, yeah. If you have Roman Reigns' job for, I don't know, 5 months, whatever. Actually, that's something that's never been established with the Call the Spot, is if you can, like, if it has to be for a year or, like, for the rest of their careers or what. I don't know. Semantics. But Roman Reigns, if he stays in the jobber kind of scenario for a little bit, they'll sympathize with him a little bit more. And I think that could end up turning him around.
Okay, I hadn't thought about that scenario, but I can see that.
It's kind of like reverse psychology. But... Catch a break by not catching a break.
Okay.
I do like Roman Reigns a lot more than a lot of people give him credit for. I think that he struggles in his own ways, but I mean, there's parts of things that I don't like that Seth Rollins does. There's some things that AJ Styles does that I don't really like all that much, and Roman's just sort of like he fucks up on B and D and L, and somebody like Daniel Bryan wasn't good in A and Q and R. Like, it's just, you know, nobody has the full package of everything except for Shawn Michaels, because he's the fucking man. And The Undertaker. We'll say that too. So the mid-card, that's where I have Jericho down. I think that Jericho's doing such amazing stuff right now, and I couldn't give him that jobber spot, but the mid-card thing is something that he actually goes down himself a little bit. Like, he's wrestled Neville when Neville had nothing to do.
Right.
So I think he'd be cool with it. Although he might punch me in the face if I made some annoying noises on a bus. I don't know. Or if I said he was dabbling in something.
That's right. Dabbler.
What have you got for the Raw mid-carder?
A Raw mid-carder, this was a tough one for me. The top 3 guys here, because I already said Jericho and Strowman.
Tough.
That's tough guy. Real tough. Joey numbers. The top 3 guys were really difficult for me to decide who goes where. Unfortunately, in the mid-card, I had to put my favorite wrestler at the moment, Kevin Owens, the Universal Champion. Yeah, that was really tough for me. I had to put Kevin Owens in that mid-card spot. I don't want him to stay there forever. And in fact, he's not. Right now, he is the main event because he's fucking Universal Champion. He's being booked well. But of the guys who are left, I got to put him third. And I hate doing it. I can
see that, though, because he was a mid-carder not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for SmackDown, I have Randy Orton for my mid-carder.
I do, too.
I used kind of the same philosophy as the Jericho thing, where it's like, well, he's already done everything he needs to do. Now he can wrestle with the people that, not only like for the upper mid-card people, but the mid-carders themselves that can actually get a little bit of a boost up. So like an Apollo Crews versus Randy Orton, that benefits Apollo Crews so much more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with Randy Orton, having him in the mid-card, like you said, he has way more credibility than the jobber status, like Bray Wyatt, where we put him. But he doesn't need to be in that main event or upper mid right now. So I think having him put over other guys, not as a jobber, but building credibility of other people in the mid-card spot is probably the best spot for him.
Plus, we also don't know how long he's going to be around, too, because he gets injured all the time.
That's true.
So you put him in the mid-card, he gets, some kind of a shoulder injury or whatever the case may be. You're not really going to be missing him all that much. So it's something that's the reason why I kind of rationalized the Sasha Banks thing, although I'm sure people in the comments are like, "What? You're fucking wrong. This isn't a goddamn movie review." So upper mid-carder for SmackDown. And like I said before, we already know what the spoiler alert is for the other one, so might as well do the main event too.
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown side of things, I've got AJ Styles in the main event and Ambrose in the upper mid-card.
Hey, our SmackDown teams are exactly the same.
So we've gone upper mid-card and main event, the same people for all three for SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. So with Dean Ambrose, my rationality for that, he kind of struggled a little bit as world champion. And I like the guy a lot, but he might be better chasing titles than actually winning them.
I totally agree. Having him as a champ, having that moment was great. Having him finally hold that title. But I thought it quickly got stale. So having AJ Styles as the heel champ works way better. And in actuality, AJ Styles, I think, is the best worker of anybody on that team.
Promo-wise, I wouldn't agree, but ring-wise, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just talking about pure in-ring performance.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's like an argument against that. Styles has been killing it this year.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually part of the reason why I gave him the main event, too, was just kind of like, hey, good job, buddy. I didn't think he'd be doing this good when he came in. I thought that he'd be all right, but I thought that they might give him like the Intercontinental title instead, kind of like keep around that upper mid-card, and he soared up to the main event.
Yeah. No, I think he belongs there, too. I was actually surprised how quickly they elevated him to that main event. I thought they'd have him kind of floundering in the mid-card for longer to sort of humble him. But they put him up there, and he is, swimming. They threw him in the deep end, and he is swimming like a maniac. I don't really know how maniacs swim, but
I was just sitting there thinking about that. I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard that phrase before. But
it's a mixed metaphor.
It's like he's swimming like a maniac and banging on all cylinders, and the pie's in the oven. It's just like,
I could go for some pie right now.
Some of the pie meat sandwiches.
Ooh,
meat pie sandwiches.
Now, man, there you go. Yeah. Damn it, now I'm hungry.
So the upper mid-card and main event for Raw. This is real fucking tough.
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of went against what you got here for this one, though, because
we have
Kevin
a different
Owens.
one for Raw. Yeah, I had Kevin Owens in my mid.
I have him for main event.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that means Rollins is upper mid-card for me.
I also have Rollins as upper mid-card. I put Roman Reigns as my main event.
Now everybody in the chat's like,
I am not a Roman Reigns Smark. I do enjoy his work, but I think he has so much potential as a heel. That's what I want to see. I want to see Roman Reigns, heel Roman Reigns, in the main event.
He definitely has to turn heel.
Oh my God, it's so overdue. He is going to be. You can't have him as a babyface until he has a successful heel run. And I think it should last at least a year. if not 2 years or longer. Have him as like what they did with The Rock, you know? Once he gets over as a heel, then you can have him as a successful babyface again. And yes, a lot of people do like him as a face now, but I'm not buying it. And Seth Rollins, super talented. You know, if you ask certain people, they'll say he's too dangerous, which I don't know. There might be some credibility to that. But the two Shield guys, in my opinion, have to be up on top, which kills me because I love Kevin Owens so much.
See, my justification for Owens being at the top instead is this dude was somebody that when I first heard about him, I was like, he's just some like fat indie guy. Like, did not think about it whatsoever. And I didn't watch a single match of his until, when was it? It was NXT TakeOver, whatever, fuck.
The one where Sami Zayn won.
Yeah, when he did his first match against CJ Parker, of all people, and he got a good match out of CJ Parker.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, that guy's actually pretty fucking good. And then at the end of the night, he turns on Sami Zayn. I'm like, no, whoa. And then we got a fucking heel turn, too, on top of this. And that was so impressive. And ever since then, this guy has just been doing such good work on the mic, in the ring. He doesn't really ever have like a bad match unless it's against somebody who his style kind of goes up against weird or whatever. But he took me by surprise.
Same thing. I wasn't really too familiar with him. I knew the name, but I hadn't watched his matches as Kevin Steen in the Indies. But when he came to NXT, immediately he won me over. And he was the reason, basically, I tuned into NXT every week. And when he answered John Cena's open challenge, that was such a good feeling when he came out and you heard his music hit. And
that angry Bulbasaur.
Yeah. Man, that was such a good moment. And he's been on the main on the main roster for a while now, and I think he's done wonderful things. He is by far my favorite guy on the mic right now. Aside from maybe Paul Heyman when he's not, trying to get heat on Brock Lesnar in Brock Lesnar's hometown.
Oh God, that was terrible.
But other than that, I'd say Kevin Owens is probably my favorite wrestler on the mic.
As far as mic work, he's in my top 5. I don't know who I would rank above or below him necessarily. I'd have to kind of think about that and look at the list and stuff. But
I'm talking current guys only. I'm not putting The Rock and Stone Cold.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, that you start getting into all sorts of crazy stuff.
Right.
But as far as like an overall performer where you work the mic stuff into the ring stuff and just understanding his character and everything like that, Kevin Owens might be my number 1 favorite guy in the entire company. So that was real tough for me to not give him anything other than the main event. Although I do like Rollins, but Rollins has his issues. I really am kind of sick and tired of hearing him talk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's his babyface turn. I like that they turned him, but he's not clicking yet.
Yeah.
I don't know
There's
if
something
it's
missing there.
I think it's a feud. Because they got him going with that whole anti-Stephanie thing more than anything else.
Yeah.
Once they start doing this Triple H thing, I think that will start kind of getting the gears in motion a little bit. But Rollins, I had to put him somewhere up towards the top, and by default, Kevin Owens was the main one, and it was sort of going back and forth between Jericho getting the jobber spot, Jericho getting the mid-card spot, and when I was going back and forth between the whole Jericho thing, I realized that I needed to factor in Seth Rollins and then Roman Reigns, and once I got that Roman Reigns part in the jobber spot, then the Rollins and Jericho stuff kind of fell into place a little bit, and I almost put Rollins in the mid-card too, because I thought something that was kind of funny was back when the Shield were happening, we kept saying over and over again that Seth Rollins was going to be the career mid-carder.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, like, maybe I'll give him that thing just to kind of call back on that joke or whatever, but right now, he kind of takes a little bit of priority over Jericho, so that's my rationality for that. But
yeah, since the Shield broke up, Rollins has really done way above what I thought he would before.
Mm-hmm. Many kudos for being able to do that, because I did not expect that to happen. I thought he'd flounder real fast. I was wrong. Sean was right.
But yes, I totally understand why you put Kevin Owens as the main event. I love him so much, but with the other two Shield guys there, I don't know. Couldn't do it.
That's funny, though, that the situation that I've got with Roman Reigns, you were like, I hadn't thought about that. And then you brought up heel Roman Reigns, and I'm like, I forgot about that. Roman Reigns can flip-flop all over the place when it comes to this. So I'm really curious to know what the people in the comments leave, because I got a feeling Roman Reigns is going to get that release spot. Braun Strowman's going to get jobber probably. I don't know about the other ones, but let's break down our list again. Let's go top to bottom or whatever. For Raw, I've got Kevin Owens in the main event, Seth Rollins in the upper mid-card, Chris Jericho in the mid-card, Roman Reigns for the jobber, and Braun Strowman for the released. Who do you got?
For Team Raw, I have Roman Reigns main event, Seth Rollins upper mid, Kevin Owens in the mid-card, Chris Jericho is the jobber, and Braun Strowman released.
For SmackDown, I've got the main eventer, AJ Styles. So my two main eventers are actually the two world champions.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose is the upper mid-carder. Randy Orton is the mid-carder. Bray Wyatt is the jobber. Shane McMahon is the released.
And I had the exact same.
So SmackDown, we're on the same page for almost everything. It seems like the biggest differences are the Hype Bros and Naomi, probably. Yeah. Like that Nikki Bella and Naomi kind of switch off a little bit. Raw, we're all over the place for that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's it for this edition. Well, these 6 editions, I guess you could say, of Call the Spot.
So many editions.
Oh, these editions are getting so much that they're almost subtractions. We've been doing a lot of math jokes lately. I don't know why. I'm an English guy, but...
You're appealing to the lowest common denominator.
I very am. It's going to be very divisive, but something about multiply, I can't figure it out.
This conversation is exponentially getting worse.
See, right then I said something else, but it was in parentheses, so you didn't hear it. All right. I don't know why we're doing so many math jokes lately. Next week, science jokes. That's what you get. Actually, next week we are going to be getting, no, not even next week. A little bit later on this week, we're going to be doing our NXT TakeOver predictions because I want to get that out of the way because next week we have Survivor Series predictions, and that's kind of a lot of things to do in one week, even though it seems like we did a lot more this week. And you factor that in with the NXT TakeOver ones, it's going to be a long week worth of content. But fuck it, that's my plan. So that's what you guys are going to get soon. So stay tuned for those kind of things. Obviously, we have another edition of the Hot Tags and another Ask Him next week coming along as well. So the only thing left to do for this one is to just throw out some plugs. So, Kalen, anything you want to toss out there?
Plugs. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Kalen Ferris. If you're looking for some trivia entertainment, make sure you check out sporcle.com, which is spelled SPORCLE. That's all your trivia needs. There you go. And if you are looking for some live pro wrestling, we're going to be putting on Northwest Ohio Wrestling's Uprising 3. That'll be held November 19th, 2016 at the Aurora Gonzalez Believe Center in Toledo, Ohio. Tickets are available for $10.
$9.99 if you're really lucky.
Perhaps.
You got a nice face. All right, guys. For my plug side of things, obviously just follow Smark Out Moment on Facebook and Twitter and the website itself, smarkoutmoment.com. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel already, then go ahead and hit that button. But if you're hitting buttons, then another button that's awesome is that thumbs up button. So go ahead and do that because that helps out quite a bit with the search engine function on the massively flawed YouTube search engine optimization. And for my stuff, just check out Tony Mango and A Mango Tree and Fanboys Anonymous all over the place. And if you have not found that extra podcast yet, I'm not going to tell you what it is, because that's not how things go. And I'm going to be posting up a new episode sometime soon, I think. I don't know. I really got to figure that out. I don't remember when I posted the other one up, but there's supposed to be one a week. And sometimes it's going to be double up or something like that if I forget. But yeah, that's something that I will still remain hush about. It doesn't have my name attached to it, but you can find it if you do some sleuthing. So little tease for that one. But that's it for this episode of Call the Spot for Smack Talk and all that other kind of stuff. Thank you for listening, everybody. This has been another Smark Out Moment, and we are being counted out.